Good afternoon. We're absolutely delighted to have you join us today for our webinar. I'm Janice Gabrilove. I'm the director of the Clinical Research Education Program, which is housed in the Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences at the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai. I'm currently a professor of medicine in the Tisch Cancer Institute, where I conduct clinical research exploring the role of drug discovery and its application to a variety of diseases in man. As a former medical student here at Mount Sinai, and now as a faculty member, I certainly appreciate the great diversity and wealth of research and educational opportunities here at Mount Sinai that are brought to bear on the Clinical Research Education Program. Before I introduce my colleagues who are with us today, I'd like to just point out a couple of housekeeping points. First is, to join our live conversation, please click the Join button in the upper right-hand corner of your computer screen. For those of you who'd like to email your questions, you can send it to explore@mssm.edu. And if anyone would like to view this live stream at a later point in time, you can through our website. And our Clinical Research Education Program website is www.icahn, that's ICAHN.mssm.edu/CLRED for Clinical Research Education Program. With that, I would like to introduce two of our students in the Clinical Research Education Program, as well as our program administrator.
I'm Keon Beachpaw. I'm a second year student in the PhD program. I do research on HCV outcomes.
Hello, my name is Iyad Al-Nahas. I'm originally from Syria. That's where I got my MD degree. Then I wanted to pursue my interest in research, so I came to the master's program Clinical Research here at Mount Sinai, and I'm currently a second year student.
And I'm nabizada-pace. I am the administrator for the Clinical Research Education Programs, and I work very closely with Dr. Gabrilove on all aspects of our programs here.
Okay, so the first question is, could you please talk about the degrees offered by the Clinical Research Education Program?
The Clinical Research Education Program offers 3 degrees. The first is a certificate program, which is comprised solely of coursework and is constituted of 26 credits worth of coursework. Our second program is the Masters of Science in Clinical Research. This is a 38-credit program, involves a common foundation of coursework that is shared with the certificate program, plus additional elective coursework related to the individual student's own interest, and a mentored research project. Our third degree granting program is the PhD in Clinical Research. And this particular program is 66 credits and goes into depth not only with coursework, but with an additional, much more prolonged, in-depth research project.
Second question, can you discuss the 4 tracks or training areas in the program?
Our clinical research program in the master's and the PhD are divided into 4 concentration or tracks, if you will. The first is in traditional bench to bedside, harnessing the discoveries of science in the laboratory and applying them to unique individual patient groups or populations at large. This is what we refer to traditionally as translational research. The second area is in clinical trials, which involves a variety of endeavors to improve the outlook of disease, looking at both interventions utilizing drugs, devices, behavioral therapies, and other strategies to improve disease outcomes. The third area is in outcome and implementation research, which focuses on health services. And the fourth area is in molecular epidemiology. We are currently working on a 5th concentration area in genomics to harness the promise of genomic science to apply it to individual patients in the area of personalized medicine.
Okay. Now, can the students just briefly discuss what area or what track they're in?
I'm in the outcomes track.
And I'm in the translational research or bench bedside track.
The next question is actually for the students as well. What made you decide to pursue a degree in clinical research?
So in the past, in my undergraduate experience, I was part of an inorganic chemistry lab, and I did some parasitology research as well. And from those research experiences, I got the impression that I really wanted to, in my future, participate in research that I could see the impact that my research had on that field. And clinical research is a field in which that you could do research and immediately see the benefits in patients who are being treated on medications, or just impact guidelines which are used to help other physicians treat patients. So I felt that very empowering to be part of research that could really impact patients right away.
Sure, and when I was a medical student, I learned that research is really the cornerstone of medicine and evidence-based practice. And all practice guidelines have to be supported by strong evidence. And of course, well-designed clinical trials give one of the best evidence out there. So I decided that I wanted to explore this area of research more, and I wanted it to be part of my future career, not only as a physician seeing patients, but also conducting research. So I joined the program here and turned to be just the right place to learn all that knowledge.
I'll just add to that in that we are hoping to enable our students to enhance their vocabulary and their ability to partner with a range of healthcare professionals and basic scientists to really solve problems of disease and be effective team members as well as team leaders who have appropriate knowledge to be able to have informed conversations about science as it applies to solving these problems of illness.
Okay, great. Now, another question for the students. What were the reasons you decided to attend the program at Mount Sinai? And Janice, if you could talk about afterwards what you think makes Sinai stand out.
Well, to me as a student, one thing that really comes out to make Sinai unique is how the environment here is so collaborative. You can see that just coming here, that there is so much collaboration between physicians and PhDs, basic scientists, and that collaboration really adds a lot to the amount of accomplishments that happen here at Sinai. There's so many projects that wouldn't happen in other places simply due to the collaboration that we see here.
Again, when I was a medical student, I came here to Sinai. I did an elective in neurology, and I came to admire the institution and the opportunities for research, as Mount Sinai is among the top funded institutions by the NIH. So I learned about the program and became really excited to come in and study here. What was really special about Sinai also as an international applicant is that the program did consider and accept international students, whereas I think most of other clinical research education programs run by other CTSAs or clinical and translational science award centers in the US only accept their own fellows or their own residents in this kind of training, in this kind of education. So I think this is definitely something unique, maybe even about Sinai.
So I think Kiam and Iyad have highlighted a very important feature of Mount Sinai. We know that clinical research is really the marriage between science and clinical medicine and is critically important in advancing the field. As a student here at Mount Sinai, as a medical student a number of years ago, I came to appreciate that what is really unique about the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai is that it was a hospital first and then became a medical school. And as such, the tremendously capable basic research scientists who flocked to this institution inherently understood that their science needed to be advanced and applied to human suffering from the inception of this school. Very different from other university institutions where science is over here and clinical medicine is over here. And despite being an incredibly well-funded and a top-ranked medical school, there is this inherent understanding and appreciation and a constant conversation between clinical science and basic science. And that conversation is facilitated by an understanding of clinical research methodology. And so our students are very advantaged by having that wonderfully rich environment with a shared understanding of the mission of this institution.
Okay. Now the next question is asking for you to briefly discuss the basics of the curriculum.
So the basics of the curriculum really address that concept that I just articulated. It is designed to really include basic research design, and we have a course that is called the Spectrum of Clinical Research Methodology that is a 3-term course starting in the fall and extending into the end of the spring. And this course is curriculum mapped and starts off with basic principles as to how to ask a research question, how to pose a hypothesis, and moves all the way to interventional trials, qualitative research, and research that's specific to the application of genomics. A second area that's part of the foundational coursework is in biostatistics. And once again, this is curriculum mapped in that each module builds upon the last to further enrich and enhance the student's vocabulary and critical thinking ability. We supplement this with additional coursework that involves the whole area of ethics and its relevance to clinical research, diversity and cultural awareness in clinical research, a journal club and works in progress where we have an opportunity to really develop the critical thinking acumen and dissect articles based on its design and biostatistical skills, as well as have the opportunity to hear from each other. The students, such as Iyad and Kiam, will present in that session and have the opportunity to share their ideas and their concepts and their study designs to get early feedback from one another. And lastly, we have a component that focuses on informatic tools that are relevant to the conduct of clinical investigation. So those are the core requirements for all of the degree granting programs. Depending on your track, there may be some areas that are concentrated on more than others, and you supplement that with elective time.
Okay. Now the next question is, could you please describe the application process?
Sure. The application process is an online application. You can find it by logging on to our website, which is www.icahn.mssm.edu/CLRED. This is the same website that Dr. Gabrilove mentioned earlier. It's also available on the Livestream website. The application consists of a personal statement, as well as a $80 application fee. We require official transcripts from the institutions that you've attended in the past. We also require official GRE scores. We will take MCAT scores as well as USMLE scores instead of the GRE scores. We also require a preliminary research plan as well as a CV, and also 2 letters of recommendation. And again, all of this is done online through our website.
Okay.
The deadlines for the applications are August 1st for all students. However, for international students, the deadline is July 1st. This is to allow the international students to then apply for a visa through our International Personnel Office. We do have Spring 1 and Spring 2 deadlines. Those deadlines are December 1st for Spring 1 and March 1st for Spring 2. The application for those 2 terms are only open to certificate and master's students and only with the permission of the program director. We encourage most of our students to start in the fall so as to be able to take all the courses in the right order.
Okay. Another follow-up question about the application process. For international students, is there anything different that they need to do?
Yes, the international students are required to submit TOEFL scores if they're language, their first language is not English, or if the institutions that they attended prior to coming to Sinai were not in English. So if the education was done in English, then they do not need to submit TOEFL scores. We also ask that their transcripts be translated to English by a certified translation service. We have several recommendations. We do recommend WES, which is the World Education Service, and I believe there are two other services that we recommend. One is ECE and FIS. These can also be found on the Embark application. If the transcripts are in English and they use the same system that we do here, then we don't require the translation.
Okay. Now a question for the students. What is life like as a student at Mount Sinai? What's it like living in New York City?
So life in New York City is great, and I think working in New York City is also great. The classes that the program offers are usually at night, so it gives you the opportunity to work during the day and then finish up your day by going to classes and learning. Mount Sinai also has a rec office, so you can actually get tickets to do things on the weekend. Like I just saw a Broadway show 2 weeks ago, so that's a nice thing nice perk of living in New York City. And yeah, it's a great place. There's lots of energy, and I think that adds to the work that you can accomplish here.
I just want to add to what Icahn said, is that the location of Mount Sinai is really beautiful as well. Just looks at Central Park, and in fact, a lot of the classrooms and the library actually does look at Central Park. So it's a beautiful view, and it's just the right environment to learn here.
Okay. A follow-up question about the application process. How detailed should my preliminary research plan be?
So the research plan should at least contain some evidence of your having thought through a hypothesis and what you are hoping to accomplish, the goal of your research. We do enable students to change their mind later on, but we do want to have some idea that you've actually proactively thought about the research area that you have an interest in. And by developing some semblance of a plan, at least putting into writing what you're thinking about doing is very helpful in both our ability to guide students subsequently upon joining the program in terms of the area of concentration that they might want to pursue.
I just want to add to that and say that we also, the admissions committee also looks at the research plan as a way to assess the applicant's writing skills. So this is also another reason why we ask for a preliminary research plan.
Now, what educational background is needed to be eligible to apply to the programs?
So students need to have a minimum of a bachelor's degree. Most of our students have had additional advanced degrees, such as a master's in biological sciences or a MD degree, nursing, advanced nursing degrees, or some type of nursing degree. We've also had students from a broad spectrum of healthcare professionals, including social workers. In general, we have not been a program that has gone just for students who are straight out of university and looking for a terminal degree. This usually will supplement additional degree programs. That being said, we have had students who've applied with just a bachelor's, and we do insist that they take a GRE or have some equivalent testing available for that, for us to be able to consider them. Fatma, would you like to add to that?
I just wanted to add that the institutions that are attended prior to coming to Mount Sinai have to be accredited colleges or universities.
Jan, would you like to add to that at all?
You know, I had a master's before I came into the PhD in clinical research program, and I felt that having, you know, background in those degrees actually really helped me in the program. So I think this is a great program to add on or supplement to whatever education you've had in the past. And I think, yeah, you'll love it.
I think one of the unique aspects of our program is really that we are looking for students from a varied and diverse educational background in the healthcare professional industry. and we hope to enhance the vocabulary and the thinking skills of those individuals to create effective team members and team partners in the big era of team science. So in particular, our program has attracted individuals like Icahn who have a master's in basic biology and who want to apply that understanding of science to the clinical arena and to the bedside. And so our program has truly attracted that type of student in addition to the more traditional clinically allied healthcare professions such as nursing, social work, physicians in particular.
We also have many clinical research coordinators who are currently at Sinai conducting research who are interested in our master's or PhD degree to help them sort of move up into, move it forward with their career and be involved in research and in the content of the research and not so much in the administrative level.
So that's an excellent point. We have many students just the way Fatma just described.
Okay. A question for the students. How do you manage schoolwork, personal life, and working?
So I'm very lucky in the fact that what I've learned in school has actually really added to my ability to succeed in my work or my research. I find that with the ability to take electives, I've been able to, pick electives that complement the work I do. And in that way, it's been very nice because it helps me, pay attention in class and take what I'm learning in class and bring it right to work and really bring my work and my research to the next level. And many of my friends are in the same program, and I think that adds something else to the program. The fact that my friends are in the program and I socialize with other people in the program. So you have to make a balance for yourself, and I think it's easy to do if you just prioritize.
Yeah, again, I'm in the translational track, so I work in a lab in the mornings, and then the classes are are scheduled in the early evenings, so that's very flexible and that's very feasible to do in addition to like full-time work. In fact, a lot of our colleagues in this program are like physicians, maybe residents or clinical fellows here at Mount Sinai, and they have very busy schedules. However, at the same time, they were able to accommodate and work on a degree in clinical research besides their full-time jobs. So it's absolutely feasible.
I think this is a very important point, and I just want to stress that we appreciate the importance of really helping with career development as a total individual. And in that context, we have a number of other activities that we provide for our students. We have a writing workshop that is offered annually to improve writing skills for abstracts, manuscripts, and public presentations. We also have an annual symposium during which we have workshops on participation in team science, networking, time management, how to be a good mentee, what to look for in a mentor. So these are other aspects that round out the individual student and complement the more specific coursework on research methodology and biostatistics.
Okay. Actually, here's a question. I'm currently a research coordinator. How will earning a degree in clinical research enhance my career, and what specific opportunities may I have with a degree?
So I think there are several opportunities that will be afforded by having this degree. First of all, interest in gaining entree into the pharmaceutical industry and biotechnology industry looks very favorably on a Master's of Science in Clinical Research in particular, because you will have the vocabulary of really understanding interventional studies and outcomes research. So it has a card-carrying cachet for individuals who are interested in that career trajectory. Likewise, in taking an additional step towards pursuing a medical or advanced nursing degree, if that were to be one's next choice, having a degree such as this will also further enhance your CV. Finally, in other professions, such as Wall Street, to name one, the ability to understand how science is moving healthcare forward, understanding how interventional strategies are changing how we care for patients, understanding how healthcare is delivered and how to look at endpoints related to that, are all part of earning these degrees and are very well, are the same tools that are needed in a variety of consulting firms and Wall Street enterprises that are interested in investing in the pharmaceutical industry, the biotechnology industry, the genomics industry, the biomarker industry, to name a few.
Okay. How long will it take to complete each of the degree programs? Can they be done part-time or are they full-time programs?
This is a part-time program in that the coursework is offered at the end of the day from 4 to 8 o'clock. There are ideal timelines and timelines that are flexible. So the certificate program was designed to be done in 1 year for those who are able to do that, but could be spread out over several years. And we are here to advise how to organize the schedule. Since some of the classes are curriculum mapped, they're required before other courses can be taken. But certainly it could be divided and parsed into 2 or 3 years if that were desirable. The same is true for the master's program. It's ideally designed for those who want to complete it within 2 years, but has been done over the course of 3 to 4 years by many of our participants. Our PhD program is different in that, as you're probably aware, a PhD is earned when you're ready to earn that as deemed by your committee. So on average, we would anticipate that a student would not be earning a PhD till at least 4 years and often a lot longer. So we don't have pre-specified timelines for that particular degree. Fatma, would you like to add to that?
No, I think the point that's very important is that our classes are offered after 4 p.m. And so even if someone wants to finish the degree in, let's say, 2 years for the master's degree, that is doable, and many of our students do that. They still have a full-time job, and of course they have some flexibility with their job to be able to leave a little early and make it to class by 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock. And I think that really enables them to finish the program in time and earn their degree.
Okay. The next question is for the students. What is your plan? What is your career plan after you finish up with your degree?
Well, you know, I'm still juggling ideas about what to do, but I do know that I am well prepared for whatever I can do. I think I feel very well suited to go into consulting if I decide to do that, or continue to do research, or go to med school. I feel that already I feel that my ability to interact with statisticians or business personnel, as I do a lot of cost studies, has really improved as I've progressed in the program so far. So I'm still debating, but I do feel that all my options are well suited to me, and I have skills that will really fit into those fields. So, ready.
I want to pursue further my clinical training, hopefully residency and fellowship, but the degree that I got here, or I'm working on here, would definitely make me a better professional. I've always wanted to become a physician scientist, and I've learned of a lot of role models here at Mount Sinai who, you know, do clinical research, basic science research, as well as see patients. This is where I see myself, and this is hopefully where I'm going.
Okay. The next question is, does the school provide any guidance when it comes to career opportunities?
So the school does provide opportunities for career guidance, and we do have sessions that are focused on career opportunities that are folded into our annual symposium in terms of workshops that we have done in the past. We also have individual advisors for each of our students, so that we try to work proactively with the student to think about opportunities going forward in terms of their career development. And we've been quite successful in this regard, having trained individuals from a variety of backgrounds, basic research, nursing, social work, and all of those individuals have gone on to really higher positions of leadership in their respective fields as a result of participating in this program.
Okay. Now, I plan on applying to medical school in the near future. Will a degree in clinical research strengthen my medical school application?
A degree in the Masters of Science in Clinical Research or a certificate program may very well enhance a medical school application in terms of demonstrating seriousness of learning the methodology that's involved in translating science to the bedside. However, that degree alone is not the only item that a medical school will evaluate. So it's difficult to comment specifically on that. But certainly we have individuals who have pursued this degree in an effort to further enhance their attractiveness as serious applicants for medical school consideration.
Okay. Another question is, does it matter if I submit the application early on in the process or later in the process?
The application timeline, as long as it's within our deadline for the new year, certainly doesn't matter. We evaluate applications as they come in and are completed by the program director and the associate program director for the certificate and master's program, and by the PhD advisory committee, which is comprised of 4 faculty, including myself, as they are completed.
I mean, I think that for many students, the earlier the better, but that's for the students himself, because it gives them more time to decide whether they want to attend Sinai or if they're applying to multiple institutions. But again, it doesn't make a difference for us as long as the application is submitted before the deadline.
Okay. Is there tuition assistance for the students?
There is no tuition assistance in terms of scholarship or stipends. If a student is eligible for financial aid, the financial aid office will assist them in getting that type of financial assistance. But we do not offer scholarship or stipends. Applicants are welcome to apply independently for certain grants or scholarships on their own, and we have had students who have done that and have been successful at receiving those grants.
Okay. Can I be a PI on a grant once I earn my degree?
There are some restrictions for individuals to be PI on grants, so I don't want to mislead anyone, but certainly having a degree from this program will enhance your ability to be an effective PI and to write an appropriate grant with credibility as an investigator who is going to present themselves as a principal investigator. And we've certainly had a number of students in our program who've been successful at securing grants as a result of participating in this program, which we track very carefully. We look proactively for our students to apply for a number of funding opportunities. So
We can wrap it up.
So I would like to just thank everybody for joining us today. We're really delighted to have had you participate in this webinar on the Clinical Research Education Program. I'd like to thank those 2 students, Kian and Iyad, and also our program administrator, Fatma, for joining us today. And we hope that we were able to answer many of your questions. We look forward to hearing from you in the future and to seeing all of you enroll in our program and gain from the benefit that we believe we have to offer your career development. Thank you so much.